Some of the most memorable moments of the modern era at Newcastle United. So let's introduce them one by one. I'm going to start with somebody who is very well known to all of us, came through the Newcastle United Academy, a player who was part of Sir Bobby Robson's great team, scored a memorable goal in the Champions League, but I think whenever we speak about this player, we always remember the goals in the derbies. It's the Mackem Slayer himself, Shola Ameobi is here. It's great to have Shola with us. Let's bring somebody else out. I would say one of the greatest players in Newcastle United in the Premier League era. Somebody who was part of Kevin Keegan's entertainers team, that brilliant entertainers side that went so close. A man who captained Newcastle in an FA Cup final and then continued to give great service to this place into the Sir Bobby Robson era. Scorer of many important goals from midfield, and someone who proves that what we sometimes hear in the national media about Geordies not liking Cockneys is a load of rubbish. Robert Lee is here.
Wow, it's a long time since I heard that one.
And the surprises and the big names just keep on coming, and we are thrilled, as we are, to have Shola and Rob to have our final Newcastle United legend with us. When players join the club, they all hope to make an immediate impact. I can't think of anybody that made a better impact in the first few months after joining than this player did, particularly in front of goal, where there were a lot of goals and some great ones, and especially those two, but one in particular at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea in 2012. Please give a big hand for Papiss Cissé. Thank you. Well, we've had questions for Shola, for Rob and for Papiss. We'll come to those over the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. I'm going to start with Papiss because it's wonderful to see you here, back in Newcastle. How often do you get to come back to Newcastle to see all of your many friends, all of the Geordies?
So happy to be here. When they tell me I'm gonna come tonight, yeah, I was so happy because I miss to see Geordie people, and it's great to be here tonight.
We can see from the smile on your face and the way that you reacted when you came onto the stage that Newcastle and your relationship with the fans is very special and means a lot to you, doesn't it? How much does it mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, and Newcastle is part of me. And even when I left the club to go to China, I still love this club. It's still in my heart, and until now, I always support this club. And like what I say is part of me, and it's great to be here tonight with you guys, with Geordie people, black and white everywhere. I'm so happy.
And Rob Lee, how much do you appreciate the warmth and the love that you continue to get from the Newcastle fans who remember your time playing across 10 years at Newcastle United, even though it's 2 decades plus since you moved on.
Yeah, well, they don't like cockneys here, do they? So, no, it's great to be back. I love coming back. It's very cold here, though, isn't it? That's the only. I underestimated how cold it was when we jumped, but apart from that, no, it's brilliant to be back. I love coming back. I come back to as many games as I possibly can, so it's lovely to be here.
Yeah, you haven't had to sit here all night in a thin jumper like me. You've got the right idea with a coat. Shola, you still are involved in the football club, aren't you? You've been a trustee of the Newcastle United Foundation. We also have a role within the academy looking after players who go out on loan. Can you tell us a bit about that role as loan coordinator?
Yeah, first of all, it's great to see everyone here. Great venue. The second time I've been in here, so it's a fabulous place and to see all the fans. But yeah, my role within the club is obviously looking at how we can develop our young talents out at other clubs and making sure that they get good football education and life skills to be able to manage, life in the big leagues. And I think, players that we're looking to develop, hopefully for Newcastle United, but also as assets to help us. I know a lot of the guys on the stage earlier were talking about the sustainability side of the club. That's a huge part of how we can make that happen. Not having to spend 100 million, 50 million every window. If we can develop our own. Certainly for me, coming through, it's definitely close to my heart. I want to see young players coming through and breaking like Lewis Miley did last season. It's only getting harder and harder. So obviously the job is tough to make that happen. But obviously we're really dedicated to that. Certainly, I am, and I know the rest of the team are as well.
And although when you came to the end of your time as a player, obviously you moved on, you played abroad, briefly came back to England, but you're very much part of Newcastle United, and like Papiss says, it is part of you as well, isn't it? The club, having been in the academy, you've gone all the way through, made it in the first team, and now you've come back to work for the club.
Yeah, listen, it's part of my fabric, my DNA. This is, I grew up, most people know 200 metres from here. Seeing the stadium every day as a young kid is something that I dreamed of. Having the ability and also, I guess, the love to be able to do that. I know how hard it is, so I really want to use my, obviously, the knowledge that I've gained and experience to help the next generation. But also to see, this city and this club thrive. That's definitely at the heart of, who I am, and that will always be the case. I know I left for a couple of years, but my family stayed here, so I was always back, keeping an eye on the club. So yeah, so to be able to have an impact on, like I say, everything that we're trying to do, everything that we're trying to build is a dream for me. Being a young kid, like I said, having that dream and being able to make that happen. So yeah, really exciting time. I know that we're going to go places.
We've got more questions for you, Shola, about Champions League and about scoring against Sunderland and a few other things. Got some questions for you, Papiss, in a moment. But back to Rob Lee, because you've continued to have this link with the club through the supporters and the love that you share. How much pleasure does it give you to see where Newcastle United are at now? Because you played in a couple of great teams, and for many people in the best time in Newcastle United's modern era, but now they're getting close and they're getting back up to those levels after a really difficult, decade and a half. So you must be thrilled with where Newcastle United are right now.
Yeah, delighted, yes. As I say, played on some great managers. It's a not so good one as well, but we won't mention Rude Bullet. We always they told me no swearing up here, so I can't mention it. No, listen, I played in the Keegan era with William and to Bobby, and went through the doldrums with the Mike Ashley stuff. Didn't like coming back then. Didn't come to many games, but now I look at the team we've got now. I look at the owners we've got now. Reminds me of when Kevin was in charge and the owner we had then, Sir John Hall and Kevin Keane, great manager. We've got a really good team again now. I always get asked all throughout the Mike Ashley years. I used to get asked, you know, would any of those players get in the entertainers? My answer was always no, not one. And now I get asked, and there's a few that will get in, to be fair. But I'm not having Bruno take my place just yet. So.
You touched on it there, but actually the unity is so important, isn't it? Because it wasn't there for a long time, let's be frank, we know that, because it was a really fractured relationship between fans and club. But you referred there to the 90s when everyone was together going on that journey. It does feel like that again now. There maybe been a few bumps in the road, and we spent a lot of time talking about PSR. Unfortunately, tonight we can't avoid it, but that feel-good factor is back, isn't it? You feel it when you come back to Newcastle.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's not just in the ground when you're watching the games, it's out and about. You know, this place is amazing. You know what I mean? It's we used to meet fans in Julie's. Yeah, you all remember Julie's, didn't you? Yeah. So to have a place like this is amazing. I'll quite happy next home game I'm coming in here. It's a great place to be.
Team meetings in Julie's.
Team meetings in Julie's, we always had them. John Burris would arrange those all those years ago. I think he's still in there, I think. So. But no, it does remind me, and I mentioned before, it reminds me a lot of the Keegan days. You know, great owners, they do a lot for the area and for the club as well. I really don't get this FFR, I don't understand it. I took my Shola before, just don't understand how Chelsea can spend billions and we have to sell 2 of our best young players. Totally makes no sense to me whatsoever, but even with the youngsters gone, you know, when we got our 11 out on the pitch, we're a match for anybody, I mean anybody. I think we've got some great strikers, you know, and we've got some great local lads as well who don't get the credit they deserve, really.
Papiss Cissé, tell us what you're doing now, because it's a few years since you left Newcastle United. What are you doing now?
I'm living Manchester. I'm continuing. I'm still Geordie. That's never changed. I'm still Geordie. I'm continuing to train. I want to play outside. I'm speaking outside. Some people like I want to play. I didn't stop yet. I just want to enjoy. That is my job, and I love to do it. I want to continue a little bit.
What was your last football club? Where were you last playing under contract?
In France. France League, Amiens. Yes.
But you're still looking. How old are you?
I'm 39.
You can still play.
Yes, you can run. I have some goals stay with me. I have to score it. You know. Yeah, but let's see.
Well, we all want to talk to you about the goals against Chelsea, so I might as well just ask you those questions now. The second goal was incredible, but the first goal you scored against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, May 2012, the last time Newcastle won at Chelsea, their only Premier League win at Stamford Bridge as well. The first goal was brilliant, but people often forget it because the second one was so good, yeah?
I always speak about this first goal because this the first goal. They are goal scorer. They're gonna understand if they see the image because that is like striker goal. You know, the touch and the body language and the shooting, everything was there. You know, the people they forget about this first goal, but for me it was the best one that night for me as striker. You know.
For the second one, I mean, the question you've been asked many times is how did you do it? But how did you do it?
This second one, now I call it like my passport. This is my identity, you know. Everywhere I go in the world, people are telling me, "Is you scored this goal?" I say, yes, that's me, you know. I remember that goal, like when they do free kick to Shola, big Shola, and he shouted me, "Don't shoot!"
I remember it. you know, it was obviously I think we were winning at the time, and towards the end of the game, and the ball comes up, and I've chested it down to him, and I know what to be said because I see him do it time and time again in training. I'm like, Papiss, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Yes, Papiss, that's unbelievable. It's one of the craziest moments in my career. That's what he did, you know. He was just so spectacular when he first came to the club.
Is anyone here who was in the away end that day? Yeah, a few people. I mean, you must have had an incredible view. Do you watch it regularly, the video of that goal? People must show it to you all the time.
Honestly, this goal, he come to me like every month, every week. He come to me like, I just open my phone, boom, the goal is here. I say, okay, another one. You know, that's why now I call it like, it's my identity, you know, that is my passport in the world.
What's interesting here is that although Rob and Papiss, you didn't cross paths at Newcastle United, obviously Shola, you played with both of these two people. Papiss, firstly, what was Shola like as a teammate? What was Shola Ameobi like to play with?
Honestly, big respect, because I always speak, even behind him, I always speak about Shola, how he was standing in the club, how he was standing in the group, you know. I always say, this guy is great guy, and is like big brother to us, you know. And when I arrived, I remember when I arrived, like even like in training, is always here. Even some moment I know he didn't play a lot. He just pushing us to play, but he always are behind us, always smiling. You know, to us, if we don't play, we get angry, but we never see Shola get angry. He always. That's why if he say to me, he love this club, I'm gonna say to people, yes, I confirm this guy love this club because he was there until when he was a player. And the one game you all know, this is for the big Shola, it's Sunderland. You know, it's here. That's we all know.
Well, we might as well talk about it now since Papiss has mentioned it, before we come back to you, Rob. Sunderland, and I don't know who first called you the Mackham Slayer, but it's obviously stuck. And of course, it wasn't just once or twice that you did it repeatedly in derbies. I mean, for a Geordie, for a Newcastle fan, to deliver in those games is the stuff of dreams.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been called plenty of things over my Newcastle career, but that's one of the better ones. No, yeah, listen, as a young boy, you know, thinking about, you know, playing in the streets, you're thinking about playing against your better rivals, and the fact that I got the opportunity to play on multiple occasions against obviously Sunderland was a dream come true, and everyone keeps on asking me, what did you do anything different? But for some reason that game was just, you know, destined. You know, every time we played against them, I seem to come up with a goal. So for me, it was just something that has obviously the identity that I have against the Mackhams, and also the affiliation that I have with the fans now is, you know, something that you can't dream of, you know, as a young kid. And I think the affiliation, you know, forever with the fans and the joy that I know that brings, and that brought me as a fan as well. You know, it's something that is, you know, extra special, and I never take it for granted.
We never tire of watching those goals back. Rob Lee, you were one of the established senior players back in under Sir Bobby Robson when Shola came through, weren't you? Into the first team as a Geordie from the academy. Did you look after him?
No, did I? No. No, I remember shouting him a lot. Hold the ball up. Pass the ball. Don't lose the ball. Run. And if he didn't pass me, I gave him the biggest rollock in the ever had. So I don't think he liked me for a couple of years. But hopefully it held him in good stead. So yeah, he was a great lad coming through. I mean, he was a noble lad coming through, and done brilliant to get into the team. We had a very good team, so for him to get into it as well was very, very good for him as well.
I know that there are some younger fans in the room who will be aware of the history, but the team that Rob was part of, or the teams that Rob were part of, Shola, that you came into, some huge names, big characters, big personalities, but big players in Newcastle United, a lot of senior experience there.
Yeah, listen, what an education to come into. And Rob's right, there was a lot of shouting going on when I came in. And, you know, I was talking to Rob earlier about actually, you know, look at that team, you look at the quality, but not just the quality, the dedication to the craft, you know, with Rob and Al and Gary Speed, Warren Barton, all these players who were just top class international, and just the will to win. You know, that was what separated. You know, when I came into the team, I just saw that fire every single day in training. No one wanted to give an inch, and that was the environment I grew up. So it was a great education for me. It was a shock to the system, if I'm honest, when I first came in, but it was a great education, and for me to see and to be able to, you know, learn under that was terrific. And obviously the times in the Champions League with these guys just, you know, playing the best football that we've played in a long time, and I know that was the back end of the Keegan era, and into Sir Bobby Robson. It was just amazing as a young 18-year-old boy coming into that environment.
Got some more questions for Papiss in a minute, but you mentioned Sir Bobby Robson there, so I think we should talk about the great Sir Bobby Robson. Rob Lee, firstly, having played and worked under Kevin Keegan and everything that you'd achieved together at Newcastle, you'd achieved with England as well as a Newcastle player with Kevin Keegan and beyond, to then work with Sir Bobby Robson when he came in and turned things around for you personally, didn't he, after the person that we're not going to talk about had left?
You're right, we don't mention him. Yeah, listen, Bobby coming in, he was a breath of fresh air, you know. I think he was 66 years old when he came in. You wouldn't have known though, he was, you know, people used to say he forgot names, and he did that regularly, didn't he, to be fair. But he knew what he was doing. He, what he did, he had his blue chip brigade, which as Shola said was myself, Warren Barton, Shay Gillen, Alan Shearer, and Gary Speed, and we sort of like ran the dressing room for him, ran the pitch for him. But as a man manager, he was brilliant. You know, I came in from training with the youth team for 2 months, and he put me straight back in. It was the same with Alan. Hadn't scored for a long time, wasn't being played, and then straight back in. I think his first home game he won 8-0. And from then on, he was just a great guy to be around. You know, he was a great manager.
Surely he gave you your opportunity, but his legacy also lives on, doesn't it, beyond football with the Sir Bobby Robson Foundation?
Yeah, I mean, you know, his legacy is plastered all over every site, you know, St James's Park, the academy, the first team, training ground, and also obviously the foundation. I'm a huge part of it. I think a lot of the traits that we have now as men and in the roles that we have, you know, came from watching him and the way that he managed himself. You know, it wasn't just about the football, it was about the person, and I think that was something that I personally sort of always I always want to take forward and understand. You know, he understood, you know, what the fans meant to the city and what the club meant to the fans, and you know, a bit like how it is today. You know, he epitomises that, and I think for me that's something, that legacy that he had will last forever, because he made an indelible print on everyone, all our fans in the world.
Papiss, a few questions have come in for you, actually. Firstly, wanted to know, as a striker, what do you think about Alexander Isak? How highly do you rate him? Because he scored a few pretty impressive goals, just like you did.
Honestly, very good striker. You know, and I like the way he played inside the box. He's inside the box, is too relaxed, and technically is very good, and the finishing is there. Even before Chelsea game, one newspaper, they asked me about Isak, because it's still a long time he didn't score. I said that's happened for the striker. Sometimes you have this moment, but with him, I know he's gonna come back quickly, score again, and and that game he scored, and after the game he scored again, and that's normal for the striker, but is very good striker for Newcastle.
And talking of scoring goals, can you describe to us the feeling, Papiss, of scoring for Newcastle United at this place, at St James's Park, and just what that was like for you, especially at the Gallagher end, when the ball hit the net? What was that feeling like?
I speak with them when I arrived, and we speak about my first game against Aston Villa. The first time I'm going for a warm-up, I even miss up when I have to do the warm-up. I go in outside the box, and I do the warm-up there, it's not there, and then somebody come to me to say, you are not allowed to do the warm-up here, you have to come here, because I lose control, because I never see things like this in the stadium. It was the first time, and it was unbelievable. And now when I come in, I scored the second goal with I don't know how to call it. The ball comes to me, and the shoot was there, and the goal. When he gets in, the first thing I hear in my mind is like, welcome the new number 9. That voice is unbelievable, and that day I say I never see things like this in the stadium. These fans, they are the best ever in the world.
Last few questions for Shola, Rob and Papiss. Staying with Papiss, do you regret leaving when you did? Do you wish you could have stayed at Newcastle for longer?
I didn't want to leave when I left. I didn't want to leave because I love this club, and I want to play, because when I leave, the team goes to second league and championship, and I just want to fight with them to go back to Prem. But it was good talking with the club, and with me, like, that's why I left. But I didn't, honestly, in my heart I left, but in my heart Newcastle is still there.
Rob, you came so close to winning trophies with Newcastle United, whether it was the Premier League or the FA Cup with the finals, and then obviously the semi-final. Last Newcastle player still to score at Wembley Stadium, Rob Lee, in the semi-final against Chelsea.
Yeah, stop it. Alan Shearer hates that I've scored at Wembley and he hasn't. Might have 260 goals, but he's never scored at Wembley for Newcastle, so...
When it does finally happen, and when the trophy arrives for the men's team, I'm not even sure we'll be ready for it. But you'll know, because you took the club so close, that it will have an incredible impact, won't it? When it does come, it feels as though it is only a matter of time, given the way the club has changed and grown over the last few years.
Listen, we were very, very close, and our team is still held in high regard here. But if I could say anything to the players now, just imagine if you actually went and won something. They've got statues of Alan Shearer and Jackie Milburn and Bobby Robson, but the minute they win something, there are some more statues going up. The fans deserve it, the city deserves it, and I agree with you. I don't think it'll be long before we're winning something. All round duties for that one,
And Shola, finally, look, you know what it was like before when things weren't so good, and you're here now in a more positive time in the club's history. It's great that the link between fans and club is back, isn't it? And they've been able to share, thanks to Eddie Howe, his staff and the players and the off-field work, some really special times together. A return to the Champions League, the Wembley Cup final 18 months ago, and strong performances in the Premier League.
Yeah, I say, I've been lucky enough to play over a couple of different sort of eras here at Newcastle, and coming in and this Bobby, like I said, connection and understanding of what it takes, with high performance, along with fan engagement, along with understanding what the city wants to see on the pitch. That was there then, and it's definitely it's back now. Eddie and his team and his staff understand what the history is here, understand what the fans want to see on the pitch. And that coupled with the strategic direction that our executive team and our ownership understand that as well. And it takes a synergy, fans, the manager and the team, and the hierarchy of the club. And I think that's really a special time to be in, and to mirror what Rob says. It's only a matter of time, because once you get all those three in synergy, and I get to live it out every day. Obviously working with the club, you see it happening. You see you can feel it. And I think I'm so excited, because I know the fans, like Rob said, have been waiting a long time for this. It's one of my one of the things that I regret the most, not being able to do that as a player here. But hopefully now, as like you say, as we are in this new iteration of who Newcastle United are, fans on board, fans understand what we're trying to do, the dialogue that's happening each and every day. It's only a matter of time, and I'm so excited, because like I said, the fans do deserve a trophy here.
Really nicely put. Listen, time has beaten us again. We could listen to you three talk all night. It's been wonderful to have you here. We'll thank them all individually once again. We're really grateful for you making the trip to come and see us in Newcastle here at St James's Stack. Firstly, Shola Ameobi. And a man who continues to be one of the most popular former players of Newcastle United, Rob Lee. And finally, we wish you well in your search for a new club, but we hope that your schedule allows you to come back to St James's Park and to come back to see us at Newcastle United as often as possible. Papiss Cissé. Shola and Rob, Papiss are going to stay with us for a couple of minutes. I'm also going to welcome back Leah Cataldo and Alicia Body from the women's team. We've brought, well, we can see a couple of nice prizes onto the stage.